Hello, all you vinyl maniacs. Welcome back to Anadialogue, the dialogue of analog music reproduction. In this video, we're going to take a look at one of the best phono preamps I have ever come across. And for me, at least for now, and now has been last 5 or 6 months, it is end game. Are you ready? Let's go. Okay, so who won my heart, my passion? An Italian company. Yes, guys, I was kind of surprised, but when I came across the Audia Flight FL Phono preamp, I was completely blown out of the water. So, what happened? As soon as I got it, unfortunately, I had to sell my Phono Stellar preamp by PS Audio. I mentally compared it to all the past ones, but this one is just a big, huge step ahead than all of these. Everything that I was missing from the different phono stages I had in my recent life, I would say, I finally found something that is responding to all that lack of information, of quality, of so much that was missing from the music. Okay, I will tell you afterwards, okay, what is winning my heart, what is so important, why I think it's a great product, because it is. I want to say this right from the start. But before that, obviously, we have to take a look at the baby, its main components. So let's start to understand better the main components from the front. Let's go. Okay, so let's try to understand what are the main controls of this phono preamp in front, the front slate. Afterwards, we're going to take a look at what is behind it. Okay, so the first button is the on button. We have to click it, and as you can see, the logo starts flashing with this blue light, which means that it's warming up, it's getting ready. That's a little bit of a downside, but you know at that point that it's fully ready, fully optimized for playback. I don't want to edit the video. I want to show you how much it truly is, the length, the time, the amount of seconds needed to let this baby turn on. So let's wait. Okay, I clearly fast forward the recording, so you didn't have to wait, but the total amount of seconds is right here, which is, I believe, around a minute or so. Okay, button number 2. As you can see, it's pretty self-explanatory. This is to select the second input, because this phono stage can serve 2 turntables. It has 2 inputs. The third button is a plus 10 dB, which adds 10 dB of gain. I never used it, even though I am using a MC cartridge with low output, but I do not need it. I'm sure with some cartridges it's going to be handy, but it's just to say that in general, the gain is pretty high and it's pretty top notch. You're probably not going to need it. And you know that every time you increase the gain, you are inserting some degradation in the sound. So it's always a good idea to keep it low, have the best sound possible to send it to the amplifier, which then will amplify that signal. Nevertheless, if you're not getting enough dynamics, enough energy, do use it. That's a good idea, absolutely. Okay, the next button is the mono button. Very useful. If you're using a mono cartridge, use it as well. If you're not, use it as well. If you don't have a switch or anything else to select mono. But when you're listening to mono records, it's always a good idea to select it. The last button, the IEC button, is an equalization, but it's mainly, we could call it simply the classic subsonic filtering, which is mainly used when you want to record. They suggest it to use to record your material coming out of it. But obviously you're losing a little bit of the low frequencies. Okay, and now we're going to take a look at the rear. I'm not going to take it out. It's too much of a pain in the arse. Sorry about that. We're just going to take a look at a picture, but it's pretty understandable. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, now let's try to take a look at the rear, what's going on. Okay, here we are in the back. As you can see, this model is composed by two parts, because one part is dedicated to the power supply. And I love this, because when you have a power supply separated by the main component, 99% it's just gonna sound better. Especially, I would say, phono preamps. In fact, as you may recall, one of the first ones I suggested, the Black Cube by Lemon Audio, wow, that is a separate phono preamp from its power supply, and it's very accessible, very low cost, high quality. Here's a link to that video. Okay, apart from that, what do we have here? As you can see, the connection is a special connection borrowed by computer type based plugs. Here we have the power cord coming directly, because it's soldered directly to the components inside. That is something very good, but you have to pay attention to the connection out here, because if you pull the cord, obviously you're going to have problems inside. So pay attention, be careful to that. And obviously you can't put your own cord. That's maybe a downside for someone, but it's obviously, as you can imagine, this is very high quality. Here you have the turn on knob if you want to switch it off for long periods of time. Obviously the AC power inlet. And here we have the inputs and outputs. As you can see, we have two pair of inputs right here, 1 and 2. And the outputs are unbalanced RCA, but also balanced, which I like a lot in order to deliver that higher, stronger, and also more stable signal. Here there is a little door, as you can see, where you can select the different loads for what the type of cartridge you're using. Over here, there you go. See, as you can see, you take off that door and there are jumpers in order to fix the different resistance for moving coil and capacitance for moving magnets cartridges. You can ask, if you order your own, if you want both MC, both MM, or one MC and one MM. I did that, for example. I found it that way because my model is used, and I'm glad, but you can have it in any way you want. It's very easy. It's just annoying. You have to move the jumpers in order to see, as you can establish the different resistance and capacitance. But apart from that, that's the only downside, I would say. The rest, it's very easy, very good looking. Okay, guys, as you have seen, this is, once again, I want to say it, 2 blocks, one for the power supply, one for the main unit. The design would ask to put them next to each other. Don't do it. Put a nice little separation, a little gap in the middle. At least you're going to avoid vibrations, which obviously are always our enemy. Apart from that, here I'm going to put now the specs. Excellent specs. Great frequency response. Wow. I mean, that's enormous. 5120. Yeah. Excellent stuff. Great signal to noise ratio. The channel separation, the gain. Very good specs, absolutely. But as you know, specs tell us just a part of the story. The main part, the main story comes from our ears with a proper test in our gear, possibly. Or listening to me or any other guy on YouTube. Okay, guys, reliable, hopefully. So, I want to go straight to the point now and tell you why I fell in love with this phono preamp. Well, I would say there are mainly 3 reasons why. Now, the first of all, I found great combination with MC and MM cartridges. Whatever I gave it, even if you don't have precise settings, I mean, you don't have an incredible array of capacitance and resistance, unfortunately. But even if I was out of the specs of the recommendation of the different manufacturers of the cartridges, the phono preamp was always top notch. And that doesn't happen often. In my opinion, it doesn't happen often. So, wow, chapeau, as we say here in France, which means hats off, because that's very, very good. A great quality project already from that. Plus, one thing I was completely shocked, and this is going to be one of the good parts for a lot of you, it is dead silent. Oh boy, baby. I haven't heard literally something so quiet in a long time. Maybe never. I mean, you guys, it's incredible. I mean, any other phono preamp I've ever had in the past, in recent time that you have seen also on this channel, always had that hiss, especially when you start to pump up the volume and the music is not going on, it hasn't started yet. You're always going to hear that shh, because it's a very weak signal and the gain has to pump it up. But with this guy, it is dead silent. I was completely blown away from that. So that's my second top reason why I love it. And third, something I really was craving. And every time I turned off my other phono preamps, I always said, oh, if only. It has it. Oh boy, if it has it. What? Dynamics. This baby is dynamic. Yes, I love that so much. I can hear the nice and soft tones and the booming change of passages in music. Fantastic. I mean, it's just something that gives liveliness to music, in my opinion. And when you sense it, when you hear it, you recognize it immediately. You don't have to have a special ear. It's obvious. And as soon as you put it, you guys, you're really going to be ready for a huge surprise. Now, the downside, the price. Now, I found it used at less than half the price. Wow, very lucky. Probably because I'm in Italy. I live in Italy. Now, the official price in Italy, and more or less in Europe, is a lot. 4,500 euro. I got it for less than half than that, which is more or less $5,000. I know, it's a lot, but it's one of the best out there, in my opinion. Unfortunately, I did a rapid look on US places, and I've seen incredible prices. Talking about high-end in that video I recently done, take a look. Here's a link where there's this little trick of the exchange rate and customs and things like that. Well, I've seen $8,000 price tag for this. That's a lot, guys. That's a little too much. In my opinion, for that price point, no way. No way. For the other one, yes, maybe. I don't know. For the price I paid, half of the full price, absolutely. Obviously. But in any case, I mean, truly, I have other experience with other even higher priced phono preamps, which some friends gave me that I listened before creating the channel. It didn't reach this quality, in my opinion. So the money is well spent in this context, we could say. Okay, guys, I know it's always difficult. But to recommend something so expensive, for me it is. It's almost embarrassing sometimes. Trust me, I hate to do it. But when I meet quality, high quality, I do want to communicate this to you. So in fact, for me, this wins absolutely the Golden Award and a Dialogue Golden Medal. Okay, apart from this, what else can I say? Thank you for watching. Please put your recommendations for the last phono preamps maybe you've auditioned, maybe you bought, that you think are absolutely worth it. And apart from all of this, music was born. Analog. Bye. Well, guys, if you're enjoying my videos and you're enjoying my channel, please consider to subscribe by clicking the black and white logo here below. Also, don't forget to click the notification bell so you'll never miss an episode and you will become a true member of the analog community.